Yeah. Hair flip, yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip, yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on your toes. Hi.
Behind the desk of a record label executive.
What I was trying to do is get the track and then hear the track, and from the track derive a theme of what the record could possibly be. I know for something like that, LL would be great for it, Joe Budden would be great for it, okay?
Tina Davis is a record executive at Def Jam. She's overseen album releases for some of the biggest names in hip-hop: DMX, Method Man, Redman, and LL Cool J.
We wanted to do a remix to it, and have it.
She's put together smash soundtracks for Rush Hour, Belly, and How to Be a Player. Behind the scenes, she's one of the most influential people in the industry.
If you don't have the A&R department, you don't have a record, you can't market, you can't promote, you can't set it up in retail, you can't do anything. So A&R is the most important part. Having the song and having the artist and the star is the most important part. How you doing?
So welcome back to part 2, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the first video. Let's dive right on in. So Tina Davis, Chris Brown, Kaleo, is this their son? The jury is still out. Now, I've been doing some research, and from what I gather, this first picture right here that is being displayed is Tina stating, from the fans stating, more so I should say, that this is her nephew. There are other pictures on her social media of her stating that this as well is her nephew. Her older brother, she has 2 brothers. It was a report that she had a sister. This is where the fuzz came in the first place, is because no one knew of this sister. Now, they know she has 2 brothers. Now, this brother would be the one you would think is Kaleo's father, but he isn't. It's this brother that is allegedly Kaleo's father. You see the pictures here. She also puts it in a caption, ×2, meaning that this is, father and son. With that being said, Chris Brown started having problems with Tina towards the end of 2013 going into 2014. Kaleo was allegedly born in 2012. She did not show him at all. She didn't start showing him until the problems that she started to have with Chris Brown, more so of like a petty for petty, if you will. In 2014 is when Chris Brown allegedly told people that he had a sexual relationship with Tina underage. And then right after that, all of a sudden, she starts posting this nephew. Now, Tina's brother has 2 other kids, and neither one of them look like Kaleo. And also, there are pictures of other family members with Kaleo, but the brother or sister are never holding him. So that's another thing that I find weird. Also, again, she didn't start sharing him until around 2013, beginning of 2014. And it's also when she stopped posting Chris Brown. She was saying happy birthday to him and all of that stuff to Chris until around the time with the big fallout to where she allegedly sent Suge Knight after him and all of that. So we can't sit here and say that just because her brother, which the baby still uncannily looks like Chris Brown, he does not look like her brother. But anyways, I digress. If her brother is not the father, which is very possible, that families do it all the time to where they give, another family member their child to raise. So, and with Tina having such a busy, hectic schedule, working with so many different artists and things in that nature, managing the Seven Streeters and others, to where it will make sense for someone to raise him so that Kaleo can have a proper upbringing. And with her brother, with multiple kids, one in college, or two kids, I should say, in college, who would be a better person to raise her son? Like I said, the jury is still out on this situation, and I will let you know more as soon as I know in part 3. We have found Kaleo, and we also found some more information, and we will dive into that in part 3, so make sure you watch out for that. In the first video, we touched on how Chris Brown always wanted Rihanna and how he never really wanted Karrueche Tran. So we're going to get into that conversation of Chris, being honest, but not trying to throw Karrueche under the bridge and make it seem as if she didn't matter. But Charlemagne and the other hosts definitely made it known that Karrueche was a side girl. Karrueche was a rebound. They definitely made her look less than, like the girl really didn't matter, when, Chris truly had feelings for her, more so a friendship, but he really had feelings for Karrueche and still does. So let's get into that.
And Rihanna's now dating A$AP Rocky. I don't know if you had a chance to see.
Oh man,
damn, that hurts.
Did you hope that was a bad April Fool's joke?
Man, that hurts.
It sucks that you had to find out that way on media takeout.
I know, man. They got all the juice. They got the little chopsticks and all that with the box.
Do you think about stuff like that when your old lady's out on tour? She's like, she is out on tour with the dude,
honestly, I do. I ain't even go front. I'm just a regular guy, so I'd be like, man, I hope ain't nobody hitting that. I hope ain't nobody getting that right now.
So how do you check though when you do get with her? How do you know if somebody's been in there?
But you can't be you can't be the boyfriend that's like, yo, what you doing? Where you at? All right, cool. Call me when you get to the room. No. I can't be like that. You kind of got to put that trust out there and hope nothing happens.
Do you guys Skype a lot?
Yeah, on the iPhone most of the time, though. It ain't like that. It's not like that. Computer Skype. I be thinking it's going to get hacked.
The iPhone
and I'm really
get hacked,
gonna have
too.
some problems.
She ever make you scan the room?
Oh, no.
Get up under that bed, make sure Karrueche ain't under there.
We ain't did that yet, so I was like, nah. Hopefully she don't be like, yeah, show me the room.
No question, you got one of the baddest chicks in the game, if not the baddest. Mm-hmm. Karrueche's fly too, but at what point did you have to tell her she was just a rebound chick?
Oh boy.
You know what it was?
It's time to go back home.
You know what? One thing about with me and Karrueche, like, she was my friend through it all. You know what I'm saying? So it was a friendship more than a relationship. Yeah, I still love her, but at the end of the day, it's like I got love for her. Like, she always gonna be my homie. So it's like I just broke it to her, like, look, I'm still in love with this person, I love you, but it's just hard for me, you know what I'm saying? So I just had to be honest. I couldn't lie anymore.
I know she thought to herself, she shouldn't have let Riri back in.
Now, but for
Riri never got pushed out.
But from Rihanna's point of view, isn't she like, I don't want you to be friends with her anymore, because that's who you dated when we broke up, and I'm not cool with that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but for me, it's more like, yo, you just gotta understand at a situation in my life, at a point where you know.
Wrong.
I am strong. This happened to me. I didn't cause this. I didn't do it. This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody. There are a lot of women who've experienced what I did, but not in the public. So it made it really difficult. I just felt like, oh my God, here goes my little bit of privacy, just people exposed. Like, it's something that nobody wants anybody to know. So here I am, the whole world knowing.
Why be ashamed?
Because I didn't want people to think that that's the kind of person I fell in love with. That person. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing that that's the type of person that I fell in love with. So far in love, so unconditional that I went back.
On average, I think it takes a woman 7 times before she leaves.
8 or 9, actually. And I don't want that to happen. That's not what I want to teach people. But again, people, I'm a human being, and people put me on a very unrealistic pedestal, and all these expectations. I'm not perfect. Also, it's pretty natural for that to be the first reaction. It's completely normal to go back. You start lying to yourself. The minute the physical wounds go away, you want this thing to go away. This is a memory you don't want to have ever again.
Tomorrow she will tell us what happened that left her so bloody, bruised, battered, and why she went back, and what other girls she hopes will hear.
When I realized that my selfish decision for love could result into some young girl getting killed, I could not be easy with that part. I couldn't be held responsible for telling them, go back. Chris, even if Chris never hit me again, who's to say that their boyfriend won't? Who's to say that they won't kill these girls? And these are young girls, and I just didn't realize how much of an impact I had on these girls' lives until that happened. Until that happened, it was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call for me, big time. Especially when I took myself out of the situation. And I'll say that to any young girl who's going through domestic violence. Don't react off of love. F love. To come out of the situation and look at it third person and for what it really is, and then make your decision, because love is so blind.
At that time in our career, being that young, being naive, gullible, but also just happy, just wanting to be everywhere. I mean, it was no other feeling like it. But with her, with Ree, it was just like our power that we had at that age, it's dangerous, man. Like, you could go anywhere. Like, we couldn't go to a hotel and not have 1,000 fans outside waiting. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't go to any restaurant and just eat. Like, real life rock stars at 16 and 17 years old, man, that's dangerous, because you could do whatever you want. I just think we were like the perfect, like, and bad combination. Like, it was just good and bad together. It just, I want to say maybe a year and a half into the relationship with Rihanna, I really was serious about it. Like, you know, I was always goofy about everything else, being a young kid, but the maturity level I had and my beliefs of what I wanted with my girlfriend, you know what, I want to marry you, but I want, before, you know, we go any further, I just want to be able to be honest and be completely real with you about everything you've ever had a question about or a doubt about. Or she had asked me, like, right when we first started dating, hey, you ever mess with this person? And this person, she worked for me at the time. And I said, nah, man, you know what it is. Just, you know, I brushed it to the side. One, I didn't want her knowing my business. Two, I just didn't know who she would tell if I tell her what I'm.
It's very often for a victim of sexual abuse to feel as if it is their fault. In this situation, I believe that Chris Brown felt some type of guilt, as if he was doing something wrong, when most victims don't realize that they are not doing anything wrong. Wrong is being done to them. So with that being said, Chris Brown just admitted that he had been sleeping with Tina Davis since he was a minor, since before the age of 16. Chris states that he told Rihanna a lie when they first started dating, when Rihanna questioned him about Tina Davis and if there was anything sexual or anything going on between them. Chris Brown told her no. A few years later into dating, once Chris became more comfortable with Rihanna, he felt more prone to open up to her. Once he opened up, it got to the point to where he wanted to marry her. He wanted to let her know everything. He didn't want to leave any stone left unturned, and he wanted to be completely transparent before they got married, before he proposed to her. her. So he had a serious conversation with Rihanna, and in the process, he told her the truth that he did lie to her when they first started dating, which, once again, was when Chris Brown was 16 years old. So if he stated that they were having sex, that means that Chris was having sex with Tina at the age of either 14 or 15 is when the sexual abuse started with Chris and Tina.
Look what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? So around like the 8th month or maybe like a little bit after that VMA performance, I just broke it to her. I said, hey, I want to marry you, but I want to be real with you. I want to be honest with you and tell you, everything. This is what it is. Before we were together, me and this other girl did have sex. My trust totally was lost with.
You can also tell within this instant that Chris is stating that he knew something bad was happening, that he knew that this was wrong. Because one, he did not tell Rihanna until after the age of 18. He was 18 years old when he told Rihanna what happened between him and Tina. So he felt safe. It's like, if I say this now, it's not a big deal. But before, it would have been a big deal. That's why he didn't say anything. He also states that he didn't know what Rihanna basically was going to do with the information. He didn't know who she was going to tell. Well, if Chris was an adult and Tina was an adult when they were having sex, why would it be a problem if Rihanna told anybody? It's not embarrassing, or anything like that. But it would be embarrassing, and it would draw a lot of attention, to a person finding out that Rihanna knew that Chris Brown was basically sexually abused, that he was being statutory raped by his manager. And I believe that that's a big part of why it really hurt Rihanna, because Rihanna felt that Chris was in trouble. Like, she felt, I should say, that he was in a situation that he couldn't necessarily get out of. And with Chris saying once again that, I know it's a lot of once agains, with him also saying that he didn't feel comfortable saying anything right away because he didn't know what Rihanna was going to do with the information, even more reason to show that Chris is protecting Tina. Stockholm syndrome. A lot of people that are abused, especially when it's by someone of a mother figure, father figure, big brother, or big sister, you love them. When you love someone, you want to protect them. It's hard to see, even someone that you feel that has done you wrong, it's hard to see something bad happen to them because you still care about them. No different than Chris Brown and Rihanna. That is why Rihanna got back with Chris after the altercation, is because she still loved him. Just because this happened doesn't mean that the love is gone.
The more in love we became, the more dangerous we became for each other, equally as dangerous, because it was a bit of an obsession, almost.
Flash forward. February 7th, 2009, the couple had attended a party for the Grammys. He was just 19, she 20.
We had a blast that night.
In the car on the way home, she says Chris is driving and she saw a text message on his cell phone from a girl and got angry.
I caught him in a lie, and he wouldn't tell the truth. So I wouldn't drop it. I kept saying, I couldn't take that he kept lying to me, and he couldn't take that I wouldn't drop it, because obviously his back was up against the wall. The truth is right here in the text message. So it escalated into him being violent towards me, and it was ugly.
The police report says he continued to drive while they fought. She says he shoved her against the window. At one point, bit her, punched her in the left eye.
At one point, your mouth is filled with blood?
Yes.
How did you think it was going to end?
That's all I kept thinking the whole time. When is it going to stop? When is it going to stop? He had no soul in his eyes. Just blank. He was clearly blacked out. There was no person when I looked at him. I was battered. I was bleeding. I was swollen in my face. There was no way of me getting home, except for my next option was to get out of the car and start walking in a gown and a bloody face. So I really don't know what was my plan. I didn't have a plan. That whole night was not part of my plan.
Tonight, she talks about the crossroads where love meets reality and how she finally broke it off.
He was my best friend. We were in love. It just takes time. And love doesn't go away right away, you know. He didn't accept that very well. Obviously, he didn't want us to be apart. But I now had to make a decision for me.
Do you hate him?
No. I don't hate him at all. I actually love and care about him, and I think I'm concerned about him doing well. I want him to do well, have a great career, have a great life, and grow up, and just take this as something that you had to go through to grow up and learn.
My trust totally was lost with her. You know what I'm saying? She hated me. Like, after that, I tried everything. Like, she didn't care. Like, she just didn't trust me after that. From there, it just went downhill because, you know, it would be fights, it would be verbal fights, physical fights as well, mutual sides, and this is the first time I get to say anything. And like I said, I still love Rihanna, but I'm just gonna be honest. We would fight each other, she would hit me, I would hit her. But it never was okay. It was always a point to where we talk about it, like, yo, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I don't like that, I don't like you slapping me. If I go on stage, I got a scratch on my face, and I gotta explain it like, oh, no, I fell, or like, or like, if you got a scar or whatever, or a bruise, you gotta put makeup on it. I feel like shit. Like, I'm not ever trying to put my hands on any female. Like me, I felt like a fucking monster.
Chris Brown admits in this clip, which takes bravery to be able to admit your own faults, but acknowledge what other people did to you as well. Because just like what you did matter, what they did matters as well. And he states that he and Rihanna had a very toxic relationship. They both would physically assault each other at different points, and it took the smallest thing in order for it to occur. There are a lot of people that stated when Chris and Rihanna would perform together before big performances and things of that nature, that they would fight and it would not be pleasant, you know, and sometimes people would see Rihanna slap him, or, you know, and then and vice versa. People would see Chris assault Rihanna as well. And it's sad that nobody around them did anything until it got to the point to where people had to step in, to where Chris basically almost mutilated the girl on the side of a road over a toxic fight that just got a little bit too toxic. So that does take bravery. So shout out to Chris Brown for admitting that, and shout out to him for acknowledging his fault in the situation and not trying to place the blame on somebody else, being responsible for his actions. But there were also things that happened to him, cause and effect.
You know, the whole Rihanna incident happened. You know, a lot of that changed my life. And that night at that Clive Davis party, that I made sure the person that I was involved with before, I said, hey, you can't come around to these places. And the person comes right to the table and say, hey, what's up, y'all? And I already know it's an issue, so I say, hey, cool, and I keep it, and they keep it moving and leave. I look over at Rihanna, and she's bawling, she's just crying. In the middle of the ceremony about to start, she's just crying, and I'm like, yo, please, babe, don't do this. Like, don't do this in here. Like I didn't know, I promise, I swear to God, I didn't know. So she got over it. She started drinking a little bit. We both were drinking a little bit. We was tipsy, laughing, joking, you know, and then we left.
And Juan, just a few hours ago, we saw Chris Brown drive off. According to sources, the alleged fight broke out inside a Lamborghini that was located at Hancock Park.
As you know, young relationships, any relationship is based on trust, but because I told her that, she didn't trust me with anything. So I would give her the option of, oh, you can look at my phone. So I gave her the phone. She looks at the phone, and there's a message, and it says, kill the Grammys, do your thing. And I didn't read the rest of the message, I didn't open it. So she opened the message, and the rest of the message said, I'll see you at the Clive party. So off top, she thought I was lying. She starts going off, she throws the phone, I hate you, whatever. Starts hitting me. We're in a little Lamborghini. You know, she's fighting me, and I'm like, look, I'm telling you the truth, I swear to God. You know, I'm telling you the truth, stop it. So then she hits me a couple more times, and I just kind of it doesn't go from translation to, let's sit down, I'm telling you the truth. It goes to, now I'm finna be mean and be evil, arguing. So then, like I remember she tried to kick me, It's like just her just being upset. But then I really hit her, like I with a closed fist, like I punched her, you know, and it busted her lip. And when I saw it, I was in shock. I was like, fuck, why the hell did I hit her? Like, so from there, she just spit in my face, like spit the blood in my face, and I'm like, yo, so it enraged me even more. Like it's a real on fight in a car. We driving down the street. So I'm like, yo, man, y'all, we tripping. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? She's trying to grab for my phone, and I'm not giving her my phone to throw it out of the window. So she grabs my nuts. And when she do that, I bite her arm, I think, as I'm driving, because I'm still trying to drive. And it's just like a petty, like, stupid fight, bro. And I'm just realizing it. I'm like, look, what the hell am I doing, bro? Like, what are you, like, you honestly doing this in a car right now? Like, what are we doing? So I pull over in Hancock Park, maybe less than 2-3 miles from my house, because I'm just trying to resolve the situation. I'm not trying to fight any further. I don't want to, like, I love her. I don't want to hurt my girlfriend, you know? And so I pull over, and I said, look, like, I'm telling you the truth. Like, I'm crying, she's crying. Like, I'm telling you the truth. I swear to God, like, I didn't do it. I didn't know she was fucking coming. I didn't know, I promise. She just didn't believe me. Like, I just know you lying to me. So she takes the keys out of the car. I'm in park. She takes the keys out of the car and throws fakes like she throws them out the window. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I get out the car. When I get out the car, I'm looking for the keys in somebody's yard. And she yells out of her door, help, he's trying to kill me. I said, stop, like, we gonna get in trouble. So I'm looking for the keys, she's sitting on the keys. So I'm like, you know what, I can't play this game with you. So I'm getting my bags out of the car. She takes my CDs. This is back when I would record on CDs. You couldn't put it on your phone when you leave the studio. So I had new music, and she was just scratching it up. I just seen her scratching it up with the keys. So I saw her snatch the bag, and I was like, you know what, you got the keys. You can drive home. By this time, her lip was busted. She had a knot because I pushed her head up against the window. And you know, a lot of the times, like, I look back at that picture and I'm just like, yo, bro, like, that's not me, bro. That's not me. Like, I hate it to this day. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna haunt me forever. I hated myself, you know? So I was thinking about suicide and everything else. So it's just like, fuck. But from there, I said, you know what, I'm gonna just take everything and like it's come. My consequences for my actions have to be dealt with, you know? I turned myself in the next day, pled guilty, didn't, you know, argue, didn't say, hey, now let me fight this case and take it to trial and just say, hey, she fought me back. No, I'm not, that's not where my head was at, and that's not where it is now. You know, I loved her, you know, I wanted to protect her because I did too much stuff to her. Like, I did what I did, so it was wrong. The hardest, you know, person to say, like, or talk about it to would be, I would say probably my father. You know what I'm saying? My father and my real father. I don't want to disappoint my father because he actually was there for me. But my mom, it was a little bit more closer to heart because I seen my mom deal with that, you know, firsthand. Not from my father. My biological father, Clinton Maurice Brown, is a great man, you know. But her, a significant other at the time, my mother, a significant other, he was a monster, animal, pure hatred, evil. I never hated somebody in my life. Like, if I could kill him, I would. So I promised my mom one day, I said, look, Mom, you know, if I know you tell me not to do like crazy shit and hang with these niggas and do what I do. I said, but when I get 15, I'm gonna kill him. Like, I'm not playing, I'm not joking, I'm serious. I'm gonna take his life. So that's the kind of hatred this guy brings for me, and fear and stuff like that. So I'm terrified of this man. You know, I would be at home, you know. He blew his brains out when I was 6, but he didn't die. Like, he shot himself in the head and then went blind and shit. I was 6 years old, bro. Like, the fuck? How does a kid deal with that shit? And then, being that he's physically impaired now, it frustrates him more, so he's in a depression. So, but he takes it out on his girl. His girl happens to be my mom. This is what I had to deal with. Like, I had to hear my mom get beat up every night. And I had to pee on myself, like, I'm scared to even get up and walk in the hallway because I didn't want to see nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So nobody knows that fear that they have to deal with, and then it transcends sometimes. It's learned behavior. So me having to see my mom look at me through that light, like, I just saw him. That's who I saw. I saw him. I didn't see Chris. I seen that motherfucker. And so that's what ate at me a lot. That's what killed my soul a lot, because I was the one thing I was running from.